Hi, I'm Josh Hockman with the Customer Service Department at Park Industries. And on this video, we're going to be showing you how to set up your switch lengths on a velocity. So this is not something you should have to do often, but if you want to double check it or if your numbers get erased, this video will help you set that up. We're going to start by going to our setup screen by pressing and holding the PI button. We're going to hit next to get to our switch lengths. Right here, we're going to start by setting up the spindle center line switch length. So you can see on the screen here, this red indicator is our switch. I'll just trigger our second switch, and you can see that it turns green when it is activated. And what we're doing is setting up the distance between when the switch is triggered to when the smart center of the smart spindle there. So what we're going to do is get our aluminum bar, put it up right before we trigger that switch. And then I'm going to come to our screen. I'm just going to slow our speed down because we want this as accurate as possible. So I'm going to do 20% here. And we're going to jog our conveyor forward until that switch indicates that it's green and it is triggered. And then I'm going to stop it. As soon as it's triggered, I'm going to come back down here. Switch the screen over, come back down. So I'm just going to use a square, come off of that edge without moving that aluminum bar here. And I'm going to mark it on my UHMW plastic underneath the belt, right where the edge of that square is. So I want to get that line nice and centered. Or make a mark on that square. Now we can come over to our smart spindle and use our square. I'm going to line that up so that square is centered on that smart spindle. And in this instance, my square is not quite long enough to reach the end of the table, but I'm going to follow the groove on the belt. Then I'm going to mark right there where the center of the smart spindle is. And yours may have a mark. This is a brand new machine. Yours may have a mark already on it. Now I'm just going to take a tape measure. Have my camera guy hold the tape measure right on that mark. It looks like I am at 46 5/16. And now I can just enter that distance in there. And that'll be that distance for here. Now when you're setting up this second switch, you want to also do a switch length. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to speed it up just because I have a 6-foot aluminum bar. I'm going to speed that up until I get a little closer to the end of that aluminum bar. This conveyor forward, and then I want to slow my conveyor down once I get close to the end of that switch length, slow it back down. So then I'm going to watch as soon as the switch turns red and turns off, I can stop it and take another measurement there. if you do go off of it at 100%, you would want to start the entire process over there. So I'm going to stop it. Let the conveyor come to a full stop. Drop my speed back down. And now I'm going to watch real closely at when that switch is going to come off, and when that light turns red, I'm going to stop my conveyor. I'm just going to take my square again. Line that up. Let you get a camera shot of that. So I'm going to mark that. And then you're going to take a measurement of what the difference is. So about 1 inch and 3/16. So that will be my, go back here, that'll be my switch length on there, when the switch is triggered on and when it's triggered off. Enter 1 inch and 3/16, and that'll take care of the switch length for the center spindle line there. And now we'll go next to the, that's the switch that runs all of your hold downs from 4 through 19, and that's what tells your spindles to come in and out. Okay, so now that we set our spindle center line, we can go to the next screen, and we're going to set our hold down values. So here we can actually reuse the indicator that we used previously on there, or you can get a new mark. It should be the same. In this video, we're going to just double check that we're really close to the same here. So I'm going to keep my speed down at 20. We're going to jog the conveyor forward. I have the aluminum bar already set up right in front of that switch. And we're going to wait until that turns green and stop it right there. I'm going to just use our square, come off of our machined aluminum edge here, and I can see we do line up with our mark that we had from our previous screen. Now I will make a mark so you can see the arrow indicating we're coming from the point of the switch here, to hold center of hold down 4. So I'm going to come to my 4th hold down. We have a second square here. Now I'm going to go as far as just making a mark on my plate, about 7 inches. Just a dot on my plate. And this square's a little long for this, so it's going to have to try and make this work here. That is not working very well for me on this. So I'm just going to remove this, and I'm going to come down straight and line up my 2 squares. Ideally, I would want to find a shorter square so I can get a nice line coming down. And then once I have that, I'm gonna just follow my rib down here to the outside and make my mark. Once I have that, I'm only about 1 3/4 inches on this one. So change my value, and your values may differ depending on how your switch is set up. It all depends on how high your switch stick is sticking up and when that will trigger. But I will change that, and that should be our switch length here. Now, if you do need to adjust, you can run a piece through and take a look at when your hold downs are coming up and down, and then you can adjust those positions also. And if it's not coming, it should trigger down onto the piece when it's centered on the roller, and when it comes up, it should come up centered of your inline rollers. And if you need to do a fine adjust, here's your up you can adjust, or you can come for your down and adjust if you need it to come down a little earlier. But that's how you set up your switch lengths and center line and hold down setup for the switches on the Velocity. As always, if you have any questions, give us a call at our customer service department, and we'll be able to help you out there. Thank you.